Hey, hi, hello here. Anthony Fantano, the internet's busiest music nerd. Hope you're doing well. I am stuffy as an MFer. I cannot really breathe casually at all through my nose, so I'm just kind of relegated to this one breathing hole right here. I can't talk and breathe at the same time, so excuse me if I take this video a little slower, or if I have a hard time articulating some of the things I'm trying to articulate here, because I'm just so congested. All right, so it's the weekly track roundup. And in this video series, you know what it is. I go over my favorite and least favorite tracks of the week. All of the songs I talk about in this video are linked down below, along with my Turntable Lab link. Also, our Patreon page. Hit that up if you want to get some extra bonus monthly content and also support the needle drop and everything we do in the process. And also, shout out to our sponsor in this video, the good people over at The Ridge. They make these nifty, awesome, metal-plated wallets that fit nicely in your front pocket. Link down below, promo code MELON, 10% off. Let's go! What's the first of these worst tracks this week? We have a handful. Bam. First one, The Birthday Party, new track from the 1975. I would say the vibe and the feel of this song boils down to a lyric in the song about feeling like you're trapped in a boring conversation that you don't want to have, and that's pretty much how this track runs. Bland instrumental, uninteresting lyrics telling an uninteresting story, one of the most drab teasers from the band's new record coming out soon that they have put out so far, so I'm not really sure what to say about this one. Meh. Moving on from there, Purity Ring, new track Stardew. Sounds like an overproduced piece of EDM with singing that is so robotic it's almost Vocaloid. I truly do not get it. I've never really been a big Purity Ring fan, but I feel like their earlier stuff at least had somewhat of a cutesy appeal. This, however, does not. And then we have a new track from Pearl Jam. This is sad. What is this? Pearl Jam is sounding like a bunch of old dudes. I mean, look, we know they're old dudes from the 90s, but given their success, they should be aging better than this. Like, this is the sound and performance quality I would expect from a bunch of old regular guys from the 90s performing at local band night half drunk at some small venue in my area within like 5 miles of me. That's what this sounds like. Pearl Jam should be putting out better stuff. And we also have the country remix of Justin Bieber's Yummy, featuring Florida Georgia Line, and of course some pedal steel. It's trash. All right, let's move on to the tracks that I thought were meh. Not blowing me away, but still worth mentioning, worth shouting out. We have a new track from Trippie Redd. This one over here features none other than Russ, and it's pretty melodic. It's cool. It's not as half-hearted as a lot of the material off of his past couple of records, but I feel like Russ really didn't add that much to the track, nor is this like the best hook or vocal line that Trippie has really laid onto a song. I mean, even his best material as of late just feels like he's spinning his wheels into the mud, and I'm just not really sure what else to say. We also have a new track from Tricky featuring Anika. It's been a while since we've heard from either of these two. And it's a very stripped back, forlorn piece of electronic music with very dreary vocals. And I'm not so much into how skeletal it is, but it does strike a mood. Strikes a tone. We also have this new track over here from the Avalanches featuring none other than Blood Orange. And while I do like the very excuse me, very lush mystical instrumental that the Avalanches bring forward on this one, this one feels more like an interlude, a transitional moment, more than it feels like a single or something. Sort of bows out in a very curious way. Doesn't really have that strong of a song structure or anything like that, though I do think there are some bold bits of instrumentation. I do like Blood Orange's vocal contributions too, which are very dramatic. So I don't know, I'm just hoping to hear this link into everything else on a new Avalanches album in a creative and interesting way. We also have a new track over here from Sparks as well. Peppy, self-aware, humorous, witty, and clever rock music, as you have expected from Sparks. Not quite as sharp as they used to be, in my opinion, but still, Sparks over the years has maintained a lot of what has made them such an interesting group, for sure. We also have Ozzy over here with a brand new single off of this new record that I believe is out now. Features Post Malone, and it is a thunderous, hard-hitting piece of metal music. Now, what turns me off about this track, though, because there are a lot of things that I like. I love how crunchy and badass the guitars are. I think Post Malone's vocal contribution on this one is nice too, but the vocal processing on Ozzy's singing is just way too fucking much. And the song itself is just very animated. It's very just, the energy is super, super high to the point where it's almost resembling, I guess, the speed and the that you would typically expect out of like a baby metal song or something. I mean, baby metal is very popular, so I have no doubt that Ozzy or producers that he's working with might want to try to recreate that sound a little bit for him. But I'm not so much sure if it's working all that well. But hey, it's definitely not as bad as one might think. Just given how many years Ozzy has been at it. I mean, he's definitely a metal artist out there who's aged a lot better than many of his contemporaries, in my opinion. We also have a new track over here from none other than Man Man, new song on Sub Pop. It is a schmaltzy bit of piano rock or pop. I mean, Man Man has always inhabited a very strange musical place, although I'm not really liking how, as of late, they just play it so straight. I feel like their older stuff used to be a lot more zany and left field. However, I will say this is one of the more solid tunes they have put out in a little bit. So Man Man, Cloud 9 is the title of this one. Give it a try. Give it a shot. If not only for the very silly old man dancing in the lyric music video. We also have this new track from Kyle over here featuring K-Camp and Rich the Kid. Yes, and it's a nice pop rap banger. Has some strong whistle samples in the background that sort of remind me of that old Joel Santana song. I don't think it's a sample, probably not a sample, but the whistles do sound similar in a way. Just a quick little comparison there for you. There you go. We also have Glass Animals over here. Deja Vu is the name of this new cut over here, and I'm definitely liking this new single more than the last one where they tried to go in a bit of a hip-hop direction. This one has more of a synthetic, groovy pop feel to it. Not super original or anything like that, but definitely easier to bob your head to, and nothing that really induced cringe from yours truly. We also have a new track from BTS, as their Map of the Soul 7 record is out now. Hoping to talk about this one very soon, but I'm not going to talk about this new track from Sia at length here because I plan on reviewing the record very soon and would rather sort of give all of my thoughts on it there. So it is in the meh category, but more thoughts to come soon. We also have Alanis Morissette, singer-songwriter extraordinaire. She is back with a new single, Smiling. I think it's okay. I mean, her voice is as bold as ever. It's aged so well, but I do not care for the super slow and atmospheric and just very reverb heavy style of production that she has been looped into on this one. I mean, I know it's a trend. I know it's what's prevailing, but I just do not feel like it complements her singing style, which again is very bold and I think requires an instrumental that is a bit more meat on the bone to kind of support her singing in a stronger way. So I'm not crazy about the backing instrumentation on this one, even if I am still enjoying her vocal abilities after all these years. Let's get into the tracks that I thought were the best ones. The best ones this week. Let's go. We have a new track over here from Yves, Tumor. The name of this new single over here is Gospel for a New Century. And like some of the best tracks off of the last Tumor record, this takes a somewhat subversive approach to some Britpop sounds with some more lo-fi and experimental production. Great songwriting too. I'm loving it, loving it, loving it, loving it. Also Willie Nelson with a heartbreaking ballad, First Rose of Spring. Again, heartbreaking. Tears rolling down my fucking face on this one. Oh, Jesus. Not good. Not good at all. Not good at all, everyone. We also have a new track from Thundercat, Dragonball Do-Rag, very funny, silly, tongue-in-cheek, groovy, and hilarious. Looking forward to this new record from Thundercat because this one was definitely a smooth, funky, and I'm just repeating words here because I'm just so distracted with the stuffiness, and I apologize for that, but I'm digging it. Did a review of this one over on the Fantano channel too, and it's a good one. It's a good one. We also have The Weeknd over here, reviewed this one on the Fantano channel as well. After Hours is the name of the new single. I'm liking the mix of Abel's usual sound with some 80s throwbacks too. Good songwriting and very creative instrumental with some subtle nods to club music that blossom and progress in a very epic and cinematic way. Cool outro on this track too. And yeah, definitely a respectable teaser from The Weeknd. We have The Strokes, Bad Decisions, new single from them. Not as interesting, in my opinion, as the last teaser, as instrumentally and even production-wise, because it's a little lo-fi. It sounds a lot like their old stuff, like the, Is This It era Strokes, which I'm sure some fans are kind of excited about. As much as I do love that era of the Strokes music, in some respects, I can take or leave the idea of them just going back to trying to do exactly that. Thankfully, the songwriting on this track is good, and I guess the track here knowingly interpolates a Billy Idol song in a pretty creative way. It's not super obvious, but once you hear Julian singing about the bad decisions, that's where you're gonna kind of pick it up. But the song "Dancing with Myself" from Billy Idol is the track that you're gonna want to reference back to. But yeah, it's fuzzy, it's lo-fi, it's driving, it's rocking. And it's got a decent energy to it. So Strokes, Bad Decisions, digging it. We also have over here another track from Archie under the King Krule name. Album out now, reviewing it soon. The one over here that I wanted to point to your attention is Cellular. I'm liking this one as well, and not going to go too deeply into it because I do plan on reviewing this album very soon. We also have JPEGMAFIA, Bald, new track that instrumentally and flow-wise reminded me of at least a few moments off of Veteran. Liked it, thought it was produced well, thought it was rapped well. While I would like to hear JPEGMAFIA continue to break new ground, I would totally love and take this track if it ends up fitting into a track list on a great record at the end of the day. We also have Jessy Lanza, Lick in Heaven, which in my opinion is maybe one of the best, like dressing room, mall, clothing store, core dance songs I've ever heard in my life. Like, and I don't mean to say that to demean the track. Like, it does very much sound like a super airy dance pop tune that you would typically hear playing over the speakers in the mall. But the song is great. The production is fantastic and the vocals are solid too. So I can't really hate on it. Next, we have a song from the artist known as Jackie Lynn, who you may already be familiar with because she is the same Chicago-based singer-songwriter who currently releases records under the name Circuit de You. However, under this Jackie Lynn name, under which she has released one record prior, she sort of drifts away from the typical styles of music that she's known for, and at least in this case with this song Sugar Water, embraces some weird throwback new wave pop with some left field punk influences. I mean, it's a little dated, I guess you could say, but it's very creative, it's very fun, and super catchy too. So huge respect to this. Stylistically, it's right in my wheelhouse, and it's done incredibly well. From there, moving on from there, we have this track over here, total banger, that quite a few people online are freaking out about right now. Gupi, I hope I'm pronouncing Gupi's name correctly. Gupi and Fraxiom, Thos Moser. hope I'm pronouncing that correctly as well, is the name of this track. And yeah, it's an insane auto-tuned dance banger that is mentally fried in much the same way that pretty much like 100 gecs music is, but it doesn't sound like a 100 gecs song. If you kind of catch my if you kind of catch my drift. Ugh, sorry, stuffy, going mental here, but. The point I want to make here is I do get a lot of questions and I do get a lot of asks saying, Anthony, sans the cough, I really like this 100 gecs stuff. Can you tell me more stuff like this stuff that sounds like this stuff? And now when people ask me that, I will say, sir or madam, you know, guys and gals and non-binary pals, this is that stuff. So give it a try. Give it a shot. Moving on from there. Whoops. Shout out to this Cincinnati noise rock band over here that I almost passed by. Daumier. Life Gets in the Way is the name of this track over here. Very raw vocals, raw production, gnarly frickin' guitar riffs, blasted out and loud as hell. Give it a try, give it a shot. Just nasty energy on this one. If you want to hear some just raw ass noise rock, give it a try. Give it a shot. It's a fun song. Also, Brooke Candy remix of the song Come featuring Sophie. Total banger. Hell yes. There were a few tracks off the Brooke Candy that I liked a lot. I thought the album overall was a bit of a mess, but I love this remix. This remix is excelente, in my opinion. And we have Anna Calvi over here with a song featuring Charlotte Gainsbourg. And Anna is working up to putting out a new record that is essentially revisions of songs from her last record, more stripped back, dramatic, reinvented in whatever way she feels. Quite a few guests on the record too. And this moment that she has with Charlotte on this song is absolutely dramatic, fantastic, I would say stunning. And give it a try. Give it a shot. Even if you weren't listening to or were a fan of Anna's last record, because the songs and the revisions that I've been hearing thus far are that different in tone. It's like a totally different record from a totally different artist in a way. We also have over here the song Crybaby that I want to point to your attention down in the description from Ariel Pink, which is an older song, but Mexican Summer has seen fit to continue their Ariel Archive series by putting out more remasters of classic Ariel Pink albums, Doldrums. We have House Arrest, and we have Worn Copy being a part of this new series. And I personally, dig some of Ariel's older stuff from this era, especially Worn Copy, which is one of my favorite Ariel Pink records from this era. And I'm pretty excited for this remaster and this reissue series, because these are great projects that deserve another chance, another shot, another listen. So, just to kind of put you guys on blast, make sure you're aware, Ariel Pink Archives, new old records coming out, Crybaby down below, give it a try, give it a shot. And that is going to be it for this weekly track roundup, everyone. Thank you very much for watching. You're the best, you're the best, you're the best, you're the best. Anthony Fantano, weekly track roundup, new review out soon, forever.